Hello everyone, I am Ananya Chakrabarti from Impact Accelerate, joined today by our co-founder Mr. Anurag Asthana. We have a special session lined up with retired Indian Army General Dogra. Given his experience in leading high-stakes operations, we will discuss mental well-being, handling stress, and leadership, topics that hold valuable lessons for corporate professionals. Welcome, General Dogra. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Let's get started by exploring the parallels between military and corporate mental health. So, General, my first question to you will be, how did mental well being play a role in managing high stakes operations in the military, and how can that translate to corporate life?
A lot of parallels can be joined between what happens in the defense forces and what is existing in the corporate world. The first thing is that the defense forces, though the general perception may be that it is, oriented towards fighting, it is oriented towards operations, it is oriented towards, some people say technology also, it is oriented towards, organizing things and things like that. But the main thing in the defense forces or the security forces is that it is very much manpower intensive. A lot of human resources involved in the defense forces. A lot of people are involved. So when a lot of people are involved, so a lot of HR issues are there. And when a lot of people are involved, you are looking at the overall, efficiency, overall output of these people that should be at the maximum.
Hmm.
So in the corporate world also, you are looking at overall output of any organization. In the defense forces also, you are looking at what best can the defense forces do. That means the defense forces should be effective also. The defense forces should be efficient also. Effectiveness means that it should be able to perform the task that is assigned to it in the best possible manner. And efficiency is that with minimum possible resources, it should be able to achieve the task. So if we say that human resource is also a resource with the defense forces, so we should utilize this resource most judiciously and the best possible manner. So when any human resource which is working, so it has got cognitive abilities are there, conscious is there in the human resource, and power is that some work can be done by the human resource. So when we look at the cognitive ability of the human resource, when we look at the conscience of the human resource, so mental well-being is extremely important. And very senior officer, and he performed extremely well, and he was respected in the organization. A lot of people had a lot of respect for him. So his hallmark was that he used to do a lot of meditation, a lot of mental exercise he used to do. His mental well-being was very good, his mental stability was very good, so that calmness was there in his mind. So when we talk of mental well-being, the first thing which comes into our mind is calmness of the mind. The mind should not be, the mind should not be moving from one topic to the other topic, one aspect to the other aspect so fast that you are not able to do justice to anything. So I'm not talking of people who have got some mental problem. I'm talking of normal people like you and me. We don't have any mental well-being issues. We are very normal people. But normal people, if they have to perform well, if they have to do well, their mind should be calm. So if you look at the Indian mythology, if you look at that Gurukul system which was there, in that Gurukul system of education, a lot of meditation and lot of methods used to be there to bring calmness into the mind. If your organization, in addition to being effective, if it has to be efficient also, that means these people should be performing at the best of their abilities. If anyone has to perform at the best of his or her ability, the mind should be calm. Like you have got a blackboard, and you have to solve a complex equation on the blackboard. If the blackboard is totally white, if it is totally blank, then you can write very well on that, you can understand what you are writing, and you can solve that equation very well. But if that blackboard is already cluttered, a lot of writing is already there on that blackboard, so whatever you are writing on that blackboard is not going to be clear to you. How can it be clear to others if it is not clear to you only?
Right.
So if it is not clear, if that mind is not calm, if the blackboard is not blank, then how can you solve a complex equation on that? So the first learning which I learned, in the defense forces also, and when I went through our own systems of Gurukul and our mythology, I came to know that first thing which has to be done is there are three types of population that have to be addressed. The first population is who are very good, very efficient, they are doing their work very well, their minds are already calm. There are about 5 to 10% of such people in the organization. You don't have to do anything with them, they are doing very well.
Hmm.
They are going to rise in the organization on their own. But there are about 70, 60 to 70% of the people who are good, who don't have any problems, who don't have any mental issues. But you have to ensure that they perform very well. So for those people, it is very important in any organization to have methods. I went for a course in one of the IIMs. Before the lecture started, the first thing which these people do was that professor came and he said that let us carry out one exercise of breathing. I thought it must be normal breathing exercise. So he said that just close your eyes, sit down, and start breathing, and be conscious about your breathing. Generally, what happens is that when we are speaking to each other, we are not conscious about our breathing. It is a very, it is a voluntary process which is happening. Urdu, there is a poem also. There is a, शेर in which he says चढ़ते उतरते दम की खबर ले फिर नहीं आना बनता चढ़ते उतरते dam. When you are breathing out and breathing in, become conscious of that, because you don't know when you will be able to breathe again. When your attention is towards your breathing, you are able to control your attention. So whole game about mental well-being is to control your attention, and to bring it towards the things which are good, and not towards the things which are not good for your mental health and mental thought. Now let us come to the people who have actually some mental issues. So first of all, we have to understand what do we actually understand by mental issues. So I'll just give you certain examples. When we were in the operations, so there was one gentleman, because in the operations, I'm talking of insurgency operations, counter-terrorist operations and counter-insurgency operations. So when you are deployed in the counter-terrorist and counter-insurgency operations, you have got a lot of contact with this, population, because any insurgency operation and any anti-terrorist operation, a lot of population control measures have to be imposed. You have to ensure that people don't come out in the night, because if they come out in the night, you will not be able to differentiate between a terrorist and a local person. You have to ensure that when any vehicle is moving or any people are moving, you have to stop them, and you have to check whether anyone is carrying a weapon or not. So some population control measures, they have to be imposed, otherwise you cannot fight insurgency. So when population control measures are imposed, so people, actually the population is not going to like it. If the population is not going to like it, you have to have people who are imposing these measures. Such people should be there who are who are able to gel well with the population, who should be able to speak very well with the population, who should be able to ensure that population understands what is the problem, and then they take these actions. But if there is a person in a check post whose mental health is not good, he is going to get irritated very fast. So first thing is that such people whose mental health is not good, they get irritated very fast. They get irritated, and when they get irritated, they take some actions, they take some do something which is not required to be done. When such things happen, it can be bad for the organization also, it can be bad for the local population also. So when I was deployed in insurgency operations, so our first reaction should be to ensure that we find out who are these people who have got mental health issues. How do we find out that a person has got mental health issues? What are the symptoms that come out when a person you can't say that today a person is feeling sad, so he's got mental health issue. No, 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 no. Anyone can feel sad, anyone can feel happy. But a person is feeling sad for a prolonged period of time. When a person is feeling sad for no rhyme or reason, तुमने तो अपनी आदत ही बना ली है मुनीर, जिस शहर में भी रहना उगताए हुए रहना. That means it has become a habit of yours. Wherever you stay, depressed, and you stay in a bad mood. So if that has become a habit, then you come to know that this person has got mental health issues. So first thing is to identify that a person has got mental health issues. For that identification, in our armed forces, the systems are very clear. We have got a lot of checks and balances through which we identify a person has got mental health issue. How many times he is going on leave? How many times he is speaking to his family? Who are his friends? How well he is gelling with his friends? Is there any change in his habit pattern? We have got a buddy system in the armed forces. That means every person has got a buddy with him. That means there are two people who are like brothers. They stay together. That means they go on leave together. They come back from leave together. They go in operations together. They stay together. So they are like buddies. The buddy comes to know that there is some change in the behavioral pattern of this person. If you say that there is some change in the behavioral pattern of this person, then we say that how are his finances, how are his drinking habits, how are his smoking habits, how is he gelling with his family, how many children he has got, how is his spending pattern. So all these patterns are seen from time to time. So in the armed forces, our systems are very clear, and we come to know that a person has got some mental health issue. Another thing which is very important is that everywhere, in the civil society also, and everywhere, there are a lot of stigmas that are attached to mental health issues. But in the armed forces, we don't have any problem like this, that there is a stigma attached, because we believe that if a person can have a problem of eyes, like I'm wearing specs, so I've got an issue with my eye. So someone a person can have a issue with his shoulder also. That shoulder has got a dislocation problem and there is an issue. Likewise, someone can have a problem with the mental health also. So there should be no stigma in, because I am wearing specs, so there is no stigma involved with that. So if a person has got some problem with his shoulder, there is no stigma involved with that. So likewise with mental health also, there should be no stigma involved. So mental health issues come because of variety of reasons, and it may not be the fault of that person, because what has been happening in his surroundings, what type of enzymes are being secreted in his body, what type of chemicals are there in his body, what type of problems that he has faced in his childhood. So there can be n number of reasons for mental health issues. So a person should not be blamed for this. So in the armed forces, what we do is, first of all, we identify that a person has got some problem, and second thing is that we don't blame that person for this issue. So treatment starts. The first line of treatment is within the organization. That means we that that little bit of expertise which everyone develops over the period of time through various courses of instruction, various training. So we find out what is wrong with this person, what is the trigger for this issue of mental health. So we try to either remove the trigger or explain to the person that this is the problem that we are facing. We remove that person from operation, and such things keep on happening. We have got systems in which this person is sent for the medical treatment also to the hospitals, and we have got very trained doctors who are available. Those doctors also give him treatment, and this problem is removed.